Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men that most men will never admit. See, we walk around like we strong, like we in control, like we ain't pressed over nobody. But the truth is every man walking this earth has a fantasy woman in his mind, and sometimes he ain't never gonna say it out loud, even when she's right in front of him. And some of y'all don't even realize you are that fantasy. Men often hide their deepest feelings out of fear of rejection or losing control, and this truth goes deeper than most people realize. See, men grow up learning to protect themselves long before they learn how to express what's really going on inside. From childhood, they hear things like, man up, stop crying, be strong, don't depend on nobody. So by the time a man becomes an adult, he's trained to hold everything in. He learns that showing too much emotion feels risky, feels like weakness, feels like giving someone the power to hurt him. And when he finally meets a woman who stirs something real in him, he don't know what to do with all that emotion rushing through him like a storm he can't control. A man will look at the woman he wants and feel things he can't even describe, and instead of stepping forward boldly, he hesitates. He hesitates because he fears losing her before he even has her. He fears that if he says too much too soon, she might pull away, misunderstand him, or think he's coming on too strong. And that fear, that silent insecurity, makes him retreat even when his heart wants to move closer. It ain't that he doesn't care, it's that he cares so much it scares him. Men fear rejection more than they admit. A man can take losing a job, losing money, losing a fight, but losing the woman he genuinely wants, that hits different. It cuts deeper. A man might hide this behind jokes, behind confidence, behind silence, but inside he's fighting that little voice that says, what if she don't feel the same? What if I'm not enough for her? What if she finds better? And these doubts make him hold back the very feelings he wishes he could confess. When a man is scared of losing control, he gets quiet. He starts watching instead of speaking, thinking instead of acting. He analyzes every little thing because he wants to protect himself from heartbreak. That's why some men fall for a woman and then suddenly start acting distant. It's not that their feelings disappeared, it's that the feelings got too real. A fantasy is safe until it becomes possible. And the moment he realizes you're not just a dream, but a real chance at happiness, he panics a little. He becomes cautious. He builds a wall, not because he wants to shut you out, but because he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall apart if things don't go the way he hopes. Men fear vulnerability because it's the one place where they feel completely exposed. When he lets a woman into his heart, he's handing her the most fragile part of himself. And in his mind, that's a risk bigger than anything else he's faced. So he hides his deepest feelings, not out of disinterest, but out of self-protection. He loves quietly, cares silently, and hopes secretly that you'll see the truth behind his actions, even if he can't find the courage to say the words out loud. A man's fantasy isn't just physical, it's emotional security, inspiration, and peace. And most people don't understand how deep that truly goes. See, a woman might think a man's fantasy is all about looks, shape, or something he can see. But a man who's ready for something real, something meaningful, something he can't replace, is dreaming about a woman who brings a feeling he can't find anywhere else. He craves that emotional comfort, that softness, that understanding that makes him feel like he can finally breathe in a world that keeps demanding strength from him every minute of the day. A man wants to come home to a feeling, not just a face. When a man fantasizes about a woman, he imagines someone who doesn't judge him for every mistake he made along the way. He imagines someone who understands he's trying even when he doesn't always know how to say it. He imagines a woman whose presence feels like a safe spot in a storm, someone who gives him peace when the world tries to pull him in every direction. He imagines being able to talk without pretending, laugh without performing, and sit in silence without feeling distance. Peace is a big part of a man's fantasy because life doesn't give men much of it. And when he meets a woman who carries peace in her presence, that sticks in his mind long after she leaves the room. But emotional security isn't just sweetness, it's trust. A man wants to know that if he opens up to you, his feelings won't be used against him. That's rare for men because they've learned that vulnerability can cost them. A fantasy woman is someone who makes him feel safe enough to let his guard down an inch at a time. Someone who listens when he speaks from his heart rather than brushing him off or comparing him to someone else. He dreams of the one person who won't walk away when he shows the parts he usually hides from the world. Then comes inspiration. A man fantasizes about a woman who makes him want to be better, not because she nags, not because she demands, but because her presence alone pushes him to rise. Maybe it's her ambition, her discipline, her kindness, or her strength, but something in her lights a fire in him. She makes him look at his life and say, I can do more. I can be more. Men don't admit it, but they secretly dream of a woman who makes them level up just by being who she is. She doesn't have to fix him. She simply encourages him by example. That kind of woman stays on a man's mind. And when a woman combines peace, inspiration, and emotional safety, that's when she becomes unforgettable. Physical beauty might catch a man's eye, but emotional connection captures his soul. His real fantasy is the woman who makes him feel understood, valued, energized, and calm all at the same time. That combination is powerful, rare, and once he experiences it, he can't shake it. Even if he never says a word, a man's silence often reveals more love than his words, and most women misunderstand this because they expect love to always come loud, expressive, and clear, but men don't operate like that. Silence is where men hide the truth they're not ready to say. Silence is where they place the feelings they can't express. Silence is where their heart speaks in actions because their mouth is too scared to form the words. When a man truly feels something for a woman, he doesn't always announce it. He sits with it. He thinks about it. He analyzes it from every angle because he knows that once he says it out loud, it becomes real, and real is where the fear begins. Men don't talk about their emotions the way women do because they've been trained their whole lives to keep things bottled up. So when he goes silent, especially around the woman he cares for, it's not indifference, it's intensity. He's feeling something that doesn't fit neatly into a sentence. He's trying to process emotions that feel new, powerful, and dangerous all at once. And because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing, he often says nothing instead. Sometimes a man is silent because he's overwhelmed by how much he likes you. He wants to say the right words, but he worries the wrong ones will ruin everything. He wants to show he cares, but he fears that expressing too much will make him look vulnerable, needy, or exposed. So he stays quiet, hoping his presence, his consistency, and his actions speak louder than anything he could say out loud. He thinks showing up for you means more than saying a sentence. He thinks remembering the small things is better than making big promises. He thinks protecting you speaks louder than compliments ever could. Then there are moments when his silence is full of admiration. He watches you talk, sees your passion, hears your laughter, and instead of speaking, he just takes it in. He studies the way you move, the way you think, the way you react. He listens deeply because he's trying to understand you, not respond quickly. That kind of silence is not empty, it's focused. It's appreciation. It's interest. It's a man realizing he's dealing with more than just attraction. He's dealing with a woman who has touched something in him he didn't expect. A man's silence can also mean he's trying to figure out how to step up. He's thinking about what role he wants to play in your life. He's asking himself whether he can provide, protect, and be the man he knows you deserve. He might be planning his next move, trying to level up, or sorting out his own flaws quietly before bringing you into his world. Silence is his preparation stage. And sometimes his silence is simply awe. He never expected someone like you to walk into his life. So instead of speaking, he tries to absorb it. Men don't always confess their feelings, but if you see a man getting quiet around you, watching you, showing up for you, and acting differently than he does with others, that silence is not distance. That silence is desire he doesn't yet know how to express. When a man admires a woman, he doesn't always say it, but he shows it through protection, attention, and small sacrifices that most people overlook. A man rarely announces his admiration directly because that feels too vulnerable, too exposed, too risky. Instead, he lets his actions do the talking. And the thing about men is this: their actions are always more honest than their words. When a man truly cares, you'll see it in the little ways he adjusts himself to make your life a little easier, even if he never says a word about it. A man who admires you will start paying attention to things you don't even know you're showing. He notices when you're not your usual self. He notices when your tone changes, when your energy drops, when your smile doesn't reach your eyes. He picks up on the little details because that's how his admiration works. It tunes him into you. It makes him alert. It makes him care in ways he can't hide. And even though he might not ask directly, his behavior tells you he's checking in, he's watching over you, he's invested. Protection is one of the first ways a man reveals that admiration. Now, protection doesn't mean he's fighting people in the street or standing guard like a body shield. No, it's quieter than that. It shows up when he walks on the outer side of the road. It shows up when he makes sure you get home safe. It shows up when he steps in to help without you asking. It's in the way he worries about the things that stress you out, the way he tries to solve problems for you, the way he can't stand the thought of you carrying everything alone. A man protects what he admires because in his mind, that admiration turns into responsibility. Then comes the sacrifices, and these are the clearest signs because men don't sacrifice for people they only halfway care about. When a man gives up his time, his comfort, his habits, or even his pride just to make your life a little better, that's admiration in its purest form. He'll drive out of his way, change his schedule, show up when he's tired, help when he's busy. And he won't brag about it. He won't hold it over your head. He does it silently because the admiration itself motivates him. Making you happy makes him feel useful, valuable, connected in a way he doesn't feel with anyone else. Attention, protection, and sacrifice. These are the love languages of a man who doesn't have the courage or maybe the vocabulary to tell you what you mean to him. It's not that he doesn't want to say it. It's that saying it makes it real, and real is scary when he's not sure where he stands with you. So instead of confessing, he demonstrates. Instead of speaking, he shows up. Instead of telling you he admires you, he treats you like someone worth effort, worth time, worth care. And in a man's world, that is the loudest confession he knows how to give. A man's fantasy is the woman who brings out his better self effortlessly, and that's a truth most women don't fully realize. See, a lot of people think a man's fantasy is all about admiration, attention, or desire, but what really makes a woman a man's fantasy is the way she inspires him to be a better version of himself without even trying. She doesn't have to push, nag, or lecture. Her presence alone motivates him. There's something about a woman who makes a man feel capable, confident, and motivated just by being around her. That kind of woman becomes an irresistible force in his mind because she awakens something in him he didn't know existed. When a man is around a woman like this, he starts noticing his own potential. He starts reflecting on his choices, his habits, and his goals because he wants to rise to meet the energy she brings into his life. He doesn't feel pressured. He feels inspired. And that inspiration is powerful because it comes naturally from her essence, not from an expectation she puts on him. She's not asking him to be better. She's showing him what better looks like, and he wants to follow that example because it makes him feel like he can achieve more, be more, and love more fully. A woman who brings out his better self makes him aware of the man he's capable of becoming, and that's different from anyone else. Around her, he doesn't feel the need to pretend. He doesn't feel the need to act tough or perform. He can be authentic, yet still feel challenged to grow. He notices his flaws because she highlights her own strengths naturally, without comparison, without criticism. Her confidence, her grace, her intelligence, and her ambition create a mirror where he sees not only who he is, but also who he could be. And when a man sees that, he's captivated. That's what makes her a fantasy. She's not just someone he wants. She's someone who elevates him simply by being herself. This kind of woman affects a man emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. She shifts his energy without demanding it. She encourages him silently, motivates him subtly, and inspires him consistently without saying a single word. He starts to make better decisions, treat people better, and strive for more because he wants to deserve her presence in his life. And the wild thing is, he might never tell her exactly what she does to him because the impact is so profound, he feels it's almost sacred. He keeps it close to his chest, letting his actions and little gestures show how she's changed him. Ultimately, a woman who brings out a man's best self becomes unforgettable. She becomes the standard he measures others against, the inspiration he holds on to in moments of doubt, and the quiet motivation that drives him to improve every day. He may never say it outright, but she's the fantasy he dreams about, the one who challenges him to grow, nurtures his heart without trying, and makes him feel like he can be the man he's always wanted to be. She's his fantasy, not because she's perfect, but because she makes him strive for his own version of perfection without him even realizing it. He won't say it, but he'll act like he can't afford to lose you, and that's one of the most revealing truths about a man's heart. See, men don't always have the words ready. We don't walk around announcing what we feel, because the moment we do, it makes it real, and real is risky. Saying it aloud gives it weight, makes it permanent, and exposes us in ways we're not always ready to handle. So instead, a man will show it. Every move he makes, every choice he takes when you're around, every sacrifice he silently carries will scream louder than any words ever could. You see, men have a way of acting from the heart without ever saying, I need you, I don't want to lose you. He'll show you that through behavior, through consistency, through attention, through little acts that matter more than anything you could ask for. A man who can't afford to lose you will make time, even when his schedule is packed, even when life feels like it's spinning out of control. He'll find ways to check on you, to make sure you're safe, to make sure you're okay. He'll send a message just to hear your voice, call just to know you're home, or stop what he's doing to help you with something that most people wouldn't even notice. He won't announce it with grand speeches or dramatic gestures. He'll just act silently, tirelessly, persistently. And that's because he knows that when he has you, he's holding something rare, something worth the effort, something that doesn't come around every day. Losing you isn't an option, even if he never says it aloud. You'll also notice the little things, the subtle shifts in behavior that show He's paying attention to your world, not because he's nosy, but because he cares. He remembers your preferences, your habits, your routines. He notices when you're tired or stressed or upset, and he acts without you needing to say a word. Those small gestures are his way of saying, I see you, I care. I'm not letting go. Men understand that actions speak louder than words. And when he's around the woman he doesn't want to lose, his actions become his confession. The way he adjusts himself, the way he sacrifices time or comfort, the way he prioritizes you without complaint. That's him speaking without words, telling you you're important beyond measure. And when it comes to decisions, a man who can't afford to lose, you will think through the consequences in ways that others wouldn't. He'll consider your feelings, your needs, your happiness, and then act to protect them. He may argue with you, disagree with you, or even test boundaries, but deep down, every step is about keeping you close, keeping you engaged, keeping you safe. He doesn't want to mess it up. He doesn't want to give you a reason to walk away. He's not perfect, but he's deliberate. Every choice he makes around you is a silent negotiation with himself to ensure he doesn't lose the treasure he knows he has. Finally, he'll show persistence. He'll show patience. He'll show loyalty even when it's hard, even when circumstances challenge him, even when no one else would bother. That's how you can tell when a man acts like he can't afford to lose you. It isn't just about love. It's about recognition. He sees the value in you. He understands the rarity of what you bring to his life. He may never say, you're my everything, but every move he makes, every silent gesture, every thoughtful act says it loud and clear. He won't speak the words, but he'll live them. And if you pay attention, you'll know that the woman he can't afford to lose isn't just special to him. She's essential to who he wants to be, and he'll do everything in his power to keep her by his side